There are images in my face. Well, not anymore, but they were. Hello and welcome to the New Tune Showcase. So many lovely names in the chat already. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. Before we start, a bit of housekeeping. This show is intended and always aims to pay its creators and pay its participants, which means that we are looking and hoping that you will be willing to donate and drop bits and all kinds of things for today. Hi, Kat. I'll wave back. Hi there. Hello. Our goal tonight is $250. If we can reach that, that would be fantastic. So with that out of the way, with the begging out of the way, the New Tune Showcase is a monthly occurrence, sometimes even twice a month, except it's also just the once a month, but it's the same because it's the same day. Today we're doing two New Tune Showcases. First out is the European New Tune Showcase, with, of course, I'm hosting. We're starting it. It's right now. And in just about 5 hours, we have another New Tune Showcase, the American edition, which I can very much recommend. Those of you who are not having to sleep at the time could absolutely and should absolutely come by and watch the American New Tune Showcase as well. We'll see if I make a sort of pop-in appearance and disturb in the middle of things, or whether I can actually behave this time. We have a full show for you today. We'll see how long it takes for us to run through all of these fantastic musicians. We have musicians from all over Europe. A full 3 countries, 5 people over 3 countries. And more than anything, there's a bunch of Swedes in today. There's a bunch of sweethearts, as people say. I figure without much more ado... oh, actually, one more, a little bit of an ado. What is the New Tune Showcase? Just to have that out of the way. We play original music. Every month we hang out and we play original music. Each week, each month is a new prompt that everyone has written a new song based on that prompt. And then, of course, we also play some older originals too. This started off as a live show in Seattle in America. And during COVID, I believe, unless I'm much mistaken, it moved online and has been online ever since through Twitch. And it's a fantastic thing that I really hope that you will be not only showing up because those you love are here today, but will come back and watch more times. Personally, I try and see it every time I can, even though the American show tends to be in the middle of the night. With little more than to say than that, let us start by introducing our dear, I almost said panelists, our dear participants today. And I think we'll start off in the order that I intend to carry on, which will mean a returning Swede that's been here once before and who I had the great pleasure of spending 40 hours in a minibus with over the summer, which is absolutely glorious, I can tell you. The absolute legend that is DiscoRichard. Let's have you come on. Hello. Richard.
Can
Hi
you hear
there.
me all right?
I can hear you all right.
Great.
What's up and how are ya?
I'm good. I can say the same about the trip. It was something.
It was a good
That's
time.
great.
We spent
Yeah.
most of TwitchCon together as well, hanging out. That was looking forward to doing that again. Let's say that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And you're streaming from the southern part. I mean, I'm south in the southern parts of Sweden, but you're even further south.
I'm even souther down.
Even souther.
Yeah.
And what do you normally do on Twitch? How often do you stream? What do you normally perform? Covers? Live writing? What do you do?
I mostly do music production, and I work a lot of the time in Ableton Live, but I also do DJ streams and songwriting sessions and stuff like that.
All right. And with our prompt being what it is today, what is your biggest distraction in life that suddenly sucks you in and time just goes away?
I have a lot of projects. Music is one of them, and it could definitely suck me in, takes a lot of time. And it's very difficult for me because I hate that it takes so much time, but I also love it when I'm like in that space of making music. But you know, days can go by without me noticing, and um, yeah, it's just a double. Is it called a double-edged sword or something?
Mm.
Could you call it that? It's both awesome and terrible at the same time.
Yeah, that's fair. I get where you're coming from with that. Because the flow is fantastic, and then you also realize that, oh, maybe I should have done something else with today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome back to the New Tune Showcase.
Thank you.
We'll move on, and I think we'll stay domestic, I believe the word is, for now. So we'll hop on to someone else who actually, first time I met was in Paris during TwitchCon last year. From, well, not northern Sweden, but further north than me or Richard, Joswefi, the tiny WiggleQueen. Hello!
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, I had a cold 2 weeks ago. Ironically, I did DM you that I wanted to have a redo of last year when I had been really sick and couldn't hear myself during this little nice hangout with musicians.
Yes, because just like Richard, you were here for the first ever European New Tune Showcase, December last year.
Yes, that's correct.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And you are not full-time music on Twitch. You do a lot of other things on Twitch as well. What do you do on Twitch normally?
I would define myself at this point as a variety streamer. Sometimes we do games, sometimes we chat. I've been drawing a little bit now, so amateur art hour, and I have music, obviously. Amateur music is what I call it, because I'm a non-musician, as no one likes to hear from me. But basically, also I have musicians on as guests, where or health people actually, where we talk about health in the music industry. Basically, we're like people's experiences, stuff like that. Because I am outside of Twitch, I am a health coach and work with that. And so my dream is kind of to work with health in the music industry. But I have kind of, I don't know, become inspired, and now I'm like creating a little bit of music myself as well, which is fun as like a side project to everything else that I do.
Mm-hmm. A side project to the side projects.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what distracts you in life? What makes you suddenly look up and realize, oh my goodness, a day's passed?
It totally depends. I have a lot of, some people would say I'm 150% person. I do a lot of different things, but the thing that I'm very much into right now is like Japanese and anime and stuff like that. So at the moment, I think that could definitely have that effect on me. But obviously, music has been one of those fascinations or obsessions I had since I was very young, and like writing music or playing the guitar can sometimes do the same thing at this point. So it depends a little bit on what I'm into at the moment. I have some things that I've had like runs through my entire life, and some things that are just like a season. So it depends a little bit.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I absolutely have encountered similar, like you put on something you want to watch or something you want to listen to, and suddenly, 43 episodes later, and it's been 2 days. I see that happening. Absolutely. Well, as I said with Richard, welcome back to the New Tune Showcase.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll move on. We'll move south again. This time not south of Sweden, but even further south, all the way down to Germany. And say hello to Amelie. Welcome inside.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the New Tune Showcase.
Thank you.
You are the only of our guests today who is a first timer.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
No, so I don't know. Did I just put way more nerves in you, or?
That's all right. I'm a busker. The nerves are part of the thing, I guess. It's all right.
It's very fair. It's very fair. So what do you do on stream then?
Mostly songwriting sessions and improvisations with like live looping and like these little boxies around here. Yeah, I just started like a half a year ago. I feel like I'm still finding my groove a little bit, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. We also met.
I'm soft. Are you
Yes.
calling me soft?
We also met down in Rotterdam.
Yes, absolutely. Where you rescued Hamata a little bit, I had the feeling.
I think we
did,
both sort of helped rescue Hameta a little bit.
Yeah.
For those of you unaware, Hameta, of course, is a fantastic music streamer as well, who's been on the New Tune Showcase a few times herself, and who got responsibility for this big show down in Rotterdam after TwitchCon, which I emceed, and you helped a lot with more keeping track of people, what they were doing. And
mostly, and Hamata was
Yes.
kind of in, like, had to do both of that at the same time, like MC it partly, and you rescued her in that, and the sign-up table, which I helped, and lots of S helped, but yeah.
Yeah. And you were also an artist.
Oh yeah, actually, just a week ago, I was in Harlem at the IRL Streamer Showcase. And drew 10 musicians and 2 people of the staff there. That was actually quite cute. Where in the end, I met, like, I went to the bar and this one guy was like, have you been drawing these people? I'm like, yes. Can you do me as well? And I'm like, sure, all right, sure. Just like, and then he came, like, after I like drew him, he came back like a minute later with his colleague, was like, can you do him as well? Can you do him too? All right, sure.
That's wonderful. And well deserved. I remember you made a fantastic drawing, which is still in my other room of me during the Rotterdam
No worries,
after
the
party as
beverage
well.
is very safe. Here, sorry, I'm responding. Yes, yeah, I actually thought when I drew in Rotterdam that your portrait was the one that came out the best. Like, some are just like a little bit overworked, I have the feeling, and yours just has the exact right amount of stuff and the right amount of not stuff, if that makes sense.
I understand exactly what you mean, because what I loved about that one particularly was how much it was me with how little of it there was.
Exactly.
You know, like, it's kind of gesticulative, more of a gesture-wise, and yet capturing very much me playing the bass,
Exactly.
which is, yeah, that was cool. I really enjoyed watching both. But I mean, you performed there as well. I enjoyed watching that, and I also enjoyed just sort of seeing all the art you did. Was really very cool.
There will be actually not of Rotterdam, but of Harlem. There will be like a VOD up on YouTube soon. To like, in any, if I didn't, I will post the what's it called? Come on, the link, I guess. All right, so that I can that people can chime in if they want to and look that up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Of course, those of you watching, follow all of these streamers, obviously, but also hopefully we will have links coming into the chat where you can find what these wonderful people do, not just music-wise, but also other things.
I'd love to answer Giselle.
Absolutely.
The point of these drawings is that they're kind of loose, and you kind of more capture the gesture, or like the like the movement of people, if that makes sense. Not as much as like this fully rendered drawing of something that's like all very pretty, but like just like the energy of someone or something like that. And I think this is what he meant with gesturing.
Yes, gesticulative was the word I was trying to get out. And
exactly, I've never heard that either.
well, for the record, it's a Swedish word that I anglified, so it might not actually be an English word at all. But it has it's from the idea of the gesture of something rather than a full sort of.
Absolutely.
Now we have one more person to greet. So again, welcome to the New Tune Showcase. I am going to see if we can bring up our last participant. In my preview background little thing here, I'm not seeing a working camera at the moment. Oh, there he is. Here we go. Returning to the New Tune Showcase, the man who in fact hosted the last European New Tune Showcase, Nate Silas.
Hey, Six. Good to be here.
And very good to have you. It's a lot of fun also that I was in the last New Tune Showcase where you hosted, and then I made sure to rope you into this one where it's my turn hosting. See how many times we're going to trade this on and on.
Yeah, we'll just be going back and forth forever.
Absolutely.
Neither side gaining an advantage.
Exactly.
Protracted stalemate.
How are you, man? How's life?
Life is, on balance, pretty good. Yeah. There's been kind of some complex family stuff going on with me, which I might open up a bit more as the stream goes on. But in my very specific sphere, things are actually pretty good. The sun is shining. There's food in the fridge. You know, what more could I really ask for?
I mean,
Music?
food in the fridge, 4 walls and a roof.
Exactly.
It's kind of... And a guitar.
Well, precisely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you stream... I happen to know you stream Sunday mornings
I
from
do.
the UK.
Yeah, that is generally it. Yeah, so I'm, for those who don't know, you might be thinking, that is the strangest British accent I've ever heard. Well, it's because it's not one. I grew up in Canada, actually, sort of the upstairs neighbor from Irene and Pinball Sorcerer there in Washington State. I grew up in British Columbia. And then, I'm based out in Cornwall now, in the southwest of the UK. Some would say the southwest of England. Some would say it's its own thing. I'm not gonna, I'm not getting a horse in that race. But yeah, I do Sunday morning, generally 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Very likely I will be there tomorrow morning, depending on how knackered we are after all of this.
Because it could prove out we're pretty knackered tomorrow.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it could take everything we have and more.
Apparently, Kat knows your neighbors. According to the chat, anyways.
I'm maybe.
Jax's neighbor, J Kings, if you know him.
Interesting. Now, do you mean neighbor in the
fantastic.
same way I did, of sort of rough geographical region, or have you been
Probably.
stalking me at an uncomfortable degree?
J Kings, of course, is also a fantastic music streamer who, at some point, I'm gonna have to rope into to be on the New Tune Showcase as well, unless you get there before me.
Also in Cornwall.
Very possible.
No
Absolutely.
doxing.
Cornwall. Yes. Really? So that makes at least 3 music streamers I know in Cornwall.
That's
Because there's also, of course, Bethan.
Exactly. Yeah, Corny.
You guys should have a meetup, just you, sort of the Cornish, Cornwall living music streamers.
I think we should. Yeah. Corny Ears and Charlotte Rotherham and we have actually met in IRL, which is pretty cool. It is a bit weird. I'm sure most streamers can relate when you sort of know someone from a screen and then you see them in real life and you're like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah.
It actually happened once where I bumped into them somewhere. I wasn't expecting to see them, and it took me a second. I do know those people. There they are.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one thing, because here, I mean, I've met Joswefy for real. We met for real before we met on Twitch. I've met DiscoRichard for real, though we met through, but we've been on the New Tune Showcase together, and so we've had, we've talked, and we've had two-way video, as it were, and not just sort of typing out into a chat during the stream.
Yeah.
But there's also a Scottish game streamer who I watched for years, and who I then went to a meetup that she arranged, and actually seeing her in the flesh, because that was like, there have been sort of group video things on Discord, but actually face-to-face with someone who is also like, it's a Twitch partner, it's someone with a big crowd. It's like, I'm just one of a very small group of worms in the chat, as it were. And it's very weird to realize that this person is also actually human. Kind of.
Yeah. You know what they say? You should always meet your heroes.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
think
Always
that's the
meet your
saying.
heroes. I think so, too. Yeah. I seem to remember that correctly. Welcome back to the New Tune Showcase.
Great to be here.
I forgot to ask Amelie this question, but what carries you away? What makes you lose track of time and just disappear from the world?
There are a lot of things. I think probably the most relevant one would be books. Now, and that can be reading, because I've always been a reader. I learned to read, quite early in childhood, and then really enjoyed it and read independently. But I've never been a very fast reader. So I think as a kid, people thought, "Oh, Nate devours books," but that was because I did that to the exclusion of most other things. Whereas as an adult, with the job, having to, wash my clothes, go grocery shopping, I get through a book less quickly, but still just the bookiness. So going into a library is actually almost a bit dangerous as far as staying on track for the day, because it's just, I can just pick as many of them as I want off the shelf and it doesn't cost me anything. That's amazing. So just, and bookstores as well. But then there is kind of the mitigator of, okay, well, I'm not going to go and spend all this money on these books, so I might get one. Whereas a library, just, even a genre that I have no real interest in, like, I don't know, smutty romance, I might take one off the shelf, read the spine, and or the blurb on the back, and be like, oh, maybe I will read Afternoons of Passion, perhaps.
Tusk Love. Yeah, no, I like that answer. I'm not a very avid reader, but I'm sort of an on again, off again kind of reader, where I rarely go to a library and borrow a bunch of books because I don't trust myself to bring them back in time. But I do buy books occasionally, and a few, maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago, I bought the original trilogy, the Maze Runner series, young adult fiction book series. And took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to just sort of, I know I took the first one I read, like, I got them Friday and I'd finished it by Sunday. Because I am a very fast reader. But then I did that and I haven't read anything since I finished those books. I haven't picked up another book. And before that, it's been like almost a year since I read something last.
Okay.
So yeah, no. I think I'm gonna sort of respond to my own question of what carries me away with stories. Because as Joswefy was talking about, like, anime and TV series, absolutely sucks me in. Books can suck me in. Real play podcasts, real play role play podcasts like Critical Role, and specifically that one especially. I can just sort of put on an episode of Critical Role and suddenly I realize that I'm on the next episode and it's been 5 hours. But stories.
Yeah.
Now,
Relate.
Yeah. All right, let's bring everyone back on.
Woot woot.
And in front of everyone, I am going to ask that question, which I didn't ask of Amelie. We didn't ask you what your distractions are.
Well, depends on, like, all your answers are all these, like, nice answers somehow. I would say, like, social media, not a good distraction. If I should answer, like, a nice answer, walking, like that. Like, I head out and I'm thinking, like, yeah, sure, I'll go for like a half an hour, and then I find myself after 2 hours and being like, oh God, I should have brought something to drink, and I need to head home now.
Yeah. I think I'm like, just with a nod or a shake, I think we can all agree that yes, doom scrolling social media and things like that, I think we can all sort of recognize that. Nobody wants to admit that. So I think that's something we probably all of us share to an extent. It's how the whole thing is designed with social media, is to just suck up your time and steal your attention in the worst possible way. So, here we are. Here are our 5 performers for the day. Say hi, chat. And I figure we'll start exactly. I can't hear you. Are you ready, kids? I can't hear you. Let's get started, I say, and we'll start off. Yes, exactly. Hi, everyone. We'll start off, I think, with Richard. What will you first be performing for us? We're going to do a warm-up round where we do older music that we've written in the past, and then we're going to present our new songs written to the prompt. So, Richard, what will you be gracing us with?
I'm going to play a song that I actually think you like a lot because you were a part of the lyric writing in this one. There's some Swedish parts.
I know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I love this one.
Yeah, just before I start, I want to show you something. If I do, will it? Hello?
We can see your hand.
Wait. Yeah. Can I?
See if it's gonna.
I'm not sure how much
Focus.
feedback you want, or if you want us to just pretend that everything is cool.
Okay, maybe I can just do this.
Oh, there it
Can you
is.
see that?
Yes.
I keep this around in my studio. I got this
Well-
at Twitch or in Rotterdam when we were there.
For those who can't see the web address at the bottom, tell us what is that?
That is a portrait made by Amelie.
Oh.
Does it look the same?
Looks pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about the nose though, but everything else looks pretty good.
Noses are hard, okay?
I imagine so. Yes.
Especially when people are moving. Noses are not easy.
Yeah, no, I imagine so. All right, Richard, let's go.
Okay.
Woot woot.
Let me just do some settings here. Now, you can probably hear that. Right. Okay. Not just yet. Oh, I'm sorry. I just need to do that again. Ooh, I just need to find the key. Not just yet. Da, da, da. Not just yet. I'm not quite ready. Not just yet. It's all unsteady. Not just yet. I'm not quite ready. Not just yet. Mom spaghetti, it's gonna exit like confetti. Am I ready? Not at all. I feel so small. If I just could be as you, I would have a different view. I could do things I never knew. That would be a breakthrough. Not just yet, I'm not quite ready. Not just yet, it's all unsteady. Not just yet, I'm not quite ready. Not just yet. Swedish part. Andra sidan är ni klara. Nej för fan, låt mig vara. Andra sidan är ni klara. Nej för fan, låt mig vara. It's now or never, let's just do it. Or I'll regret it forever. Limelight, stage fright, you'll get it right. No flight, just fight. If I just could be as you, I would have a different view. I could do things I never knew. That would be a breakthrough. Not just yet, I'm not quite ready. Not just yet, it's all unsteady. Not just yet, I'm not quite ready. Not just yet. Andra sidan, är ni klara? Nej för fan, låt mig vara. Andra sidan, är ni klara? Nej för fan, låt mig vara. Låt mig vara. Låt mig vara. That was my song. Not just yet.
Not just yet. Though it's over now, so it's very much yes yet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that song. I love that song.
Thank you.
Have you released that yet? Is that on your
No.
Spotify
No,
yet?
no.
That
It's
needs to go on
over-
Spotify, man.
Yeah, it's over a year ago now since I wrote that.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Why don't you tell us the story of behind the scenes of that song? Where did the idea come from? I know this story obviously because I was there, but do tell the chat. Do tell us where
Well,
did
I
this
have
song
to
come
remember
from?
this story now. I don't know this story. The story is I made this challenge to myself, writing songs every week, and this is one of the songs. And while we wrote this, a lot of people in the chat were participating in the songwriting, and I love that about Twitch, that the community can like instantly help you writing music, and you were one of them. And I think it was totally out of context that you wrote that Swedish soccer chant or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I remember there's someone doing the first half and me filling in with the second half. That's
yeah.
not the right thing because I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, and it fits so well in the song. I think it's all about this stage fright thing, and what you're saying is like, other side, are you ready? And then, heck no, I'm not ready. So
Yeah.
it makes makes a lot of sense, you know. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. That's okay. We've had some tech issues. It appears Nate has had a tech issue to the point where he ran off. Amelie's camera has crapped out a bit, and she'll need to reload. Now, fortunately, exactly, no goddammit, leave me be is the second part of that. Now, welcome Raiders, first of all, to the New Tune Showcase. Steven Friend, thank you for bringing your friends over. Steven Friend, of course, a lovely human being themselves who streams, or how could they possibly rate us? In with him came also as an inspirator, who is also a streamer and a friend of the New Tune Showcase and of Together Wherever. Stephen Shaw, welcome inside. Hamet has turned up. Welcome to you as well. And Maker Plays, who, of course, we touched very shortly on the subject during the intro that we have that there was an IRL meetup here in Europe like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something like that, very recently, which were, of course, arranged by Maker Plays. However, now we move on, and I think maybe we'll stick to the theme, and we will move on to Joswefy. What do you have for us to begin with? Your
What
first
do I
song.
have for you? Yes. Let me see. I'm going to pick up my guitar first. Some of you may have heard this last year, because this is the song that I wrote as the prompt for the prompt last year, which was "A Light in the Dark." I think, if I remember correctly, was the prompt.
It was, yeah. I was trying to make people do Christmas songs, and no one did.
And this is currently kind of under production. I have gathered some people from Twitch, since I call myself a non-musician. I've gathered some other talented music streamers and musicians who are helping me with this. And so it's currently under production. It's going to be released this year, is the plan. We have had to move the deadline, though, so I'm not sure what date that will be at the moment. But yeah, so I'm gonna shout out a couple of people who are helping with this, because I feel like they deserve that. If you don't know EBX Erin, you should check her out. And we
Yes,
have
you should.
Carmela on this a little bit. We have Sweeto, who's the drummer of Carmela's band. We have EBX Phil, who's part of EBX Erin's band. And we have Carissa, the cyberbard, who's going to be part of it as well. So we're a couple of people who are, most of us hang out here on Twitch.
That's like
so
an actual like dream band.
For sure, for sure. I am
man.
very lucky that they have said yes. So just gonna have some water, because my voice is. I have had a cold, so ironically. But the song is called Muddy Waters, so I'll just play it for you guys. The darkness invades, can we feel safe tonight? There's something that shines, will it make us blind? Alright. Swimming in muddy waters, I am the daughter of the sun and the moon. Swimming in muddy waters, can someone tell me, will I be there soon? Swimming in muddy waters, it feels so good at night. But I'm still looking for the beacon of light. Swimming and swimming in, swimming and swimming in, swimming and swimming in. Coldness surrounds, leaves on the ground turn brown. Thoughts in my mind, more than I can count, they go round and round. Swimming in muddy waters, I am the daughter of the sun and the moon. Swimming in muddy waters, can someone tell me, will I be there soon? Swimming in muddy waters, it feels so good at night. But I'm still looking for the beacon of light. Swimming and swimming in, swimming and swimming in, swimming and swimming in. Swimming in muddy waters, I am the daughter of the sun and the moon. Swimming in muddy waters, can someone tell me, will I be there soon? Swimming in muddy waters, it feels so good at night. But I'm still looking for the beacon in, swimming 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 in. In the darkness and veins, can we feel safe tonight? Something like that. Thank you.
Can
Thank
you
you.
just sort of? I think Steven Friend said it just best in the chat. The person that is playing, don't call him a musician. Lies. I think that's a very, very fair assessment.
It's become a thing on Twitch with all the musicians that I know on here. So.
Yeah, I know, but it's gonna remain a thing until you just recognize your status as musician. This is how it is. That was for the last year's New Tune Showcase.
Yes.
A Light in the Dark. What would you like to say anything more about it?
Well, when we got the prompt, I tried starting to write a song, and it was like very cliche, you know, like the light comes between like the cracks of the pavement or whatever, and I felt like this doesn't feel right. And then I was like, it was in November that I wrote this, and because we had a New Tune Showcase in December, I remember. And I went out, and it's really dark. It was, you know, Sweden during November. It's dark, basically, like 24 hours per day.
It's dark, it's cold, and it's no
Yeah.
snow. It's the worst month.
Exactly. And so I went outside, and I went for a walk, actually. And the first thing that I got for the song was this swimming and swimming in for some reason. That was like the first thing. So I was repeating that in my head when I was walking. And then the lyrics kind of wrote themselves. So it kind of started with being inspired by the darkness of the November night when I went out for a walk kind of thing. And it's kind of about, you could say, like, life, and like about, you know, we all have our tough times and we're swimming in the muddy waters, but we're like trying to still, like, during those dark times, we're trying to find that little beacon of light somewhere. And we kind of try to look for it most of the time, or like, yeah, a little bit like that.
Absolutely. I would also like to. I didn't do this for Richard, but I would also love to open up for anyone else to have. What will you say, my dears? This is I of course tend to ask whoever performed, but I would also love to hear from the others. Do you have? Did we have any thoughts, any ideas, any questions?
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
I was curious if you were thinking at all about the blues musician Muddy Waters.
I've had this question before. It's kind of funny. No, I didn't even know he existed.
Oh yeah,
So no.
there you go. Yeah, I mean it is. I think most people, when they hear the phrase Muddy Waters, they think of water mixed with dirt before they think of early 20th century bluesmen. But yeah, it's good. It was a good hook, and I think I'll probably be humming that in my head as I'm walking.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we have Jiff in chat who actually, I think he asked me at one point when I played it for the community, like in my channel, and was like, "Is this a reference to Muddy Waters?" And I was like, "Who's that?" So.
Yeah, waters that are muddy. Yeah, that's exactly what it's a reference to.
Exactly.
It's a weird question.
Sure.
All right. A little reminder for the chatters and viewers. We are the New Tune Showcase together wherever. We always try to make sure we pay our musicians. Now, for us to pay our musicians, we do need your bits, your donations, and your, subs as well if someone wants to sub to the channel. So please, if you have a few dollars to spare or a few bits to spare, toss them our way, and they will be shared by the people performing today. Our goal would be, the dream goal is to manage $250 in one stream to spread amongst 5 musicians. That would be fantastic. Now moving on, I'm thinking we're sticking to the order that I presented my guests. And so next up will be Amelie. What have you got for us to begin with today?
Hello. For me, whenever I'm streaming, I'm always a little bit confused about. I like working on the floor, but I also like performing standing, so it's always a little bit of like this up and down movement. So the first thing I'm doing is getting up. And then what I have for you is a song called In Utero, which I haven't played live very often, or like in front of people. It is an older song, like 2 years old, I would say, but not very often played. So let's see how that works out. Leap and I will catch you, dance and I will watch you, sing my love, I know you can, speak and I will listen closely, cry and I will hug you, ask and I will feed you. Leave my love, I know you can. Go and I will set you free. Swim in the ocean of my amniotic fluid. You are safe with me. You are safe with and without me. With and without me. Swim in the ocean of my amniotic fluid. You are safe with me. You're safe with and without me. With and without me. And that's it.
I like that. That's very, very pretty. I like the is that like a delay effect or something that you were using that made this
Yes.
sort of
Yes, yes.
background
This
humming
thing
kind
here.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, delay.
Then when you got like into it after a bit, it's like the sound it was making, the warbling was almost like a Star Trek tricorder, original Star Trek tricorder.
I don't know that thing.
Okay.
But to me, I don't know where I got this from. I have no clue if, like, what is this called when you... it gets very pregnancy, and I'm not about that at all, actually. But, like, I mean, the whole picture of this is to be, like, safely contained, like what the song is about. And for me, that sound kind of sounds like ultrasound. I'm not sure if ultrasound actually makes that sound, but to me, it sounds like that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, like it would be the sound effect of ultrasound if you had it in some kind of audio story or something.
Yeah.
Because I think I've never had an ultrasound, but I think the point with it is that it's not actually audible. the sound of the ultrasound,
Exactly, right? But it
but-
should be making the sound, in my opinion. I don't know, somewhere.
yeah. No, I see what you're.
I was imagining like a submarine or something.
Oh,
I would say that that is also probably somewhere where you feel maybe safely contained or quite claustrophobic. So
certainly contained, safely or not, certainly contained.
yeah.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts?
If I were to lower the frequency to audible levels, maybe. I would love to know.
Huh.
I think that line, swim in the ocean of my amniotic fluid, that's very powerful imagery.
Thank you.
Yeah, it kind of is like a less sort of scary something that the Mars Volta would write.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, so
actually.
great.
I love them. And I don't know why, but especially in the last 2 years or so, I keep finding myself using like water pictures in my sound. Like not planned, not deliberate, but it's like in the end, it's like, oh, swim in the ocean again keeps coming up and again somehow.
Have you moved to nearby water lately?
I
or
wish.
no?
I really wish. I think I should. I need to. Yes. I
Maybe
will.
that's the point, though. It's
Maybe
because the
that's
water,
the
the
point.
water is so far away, you keep missing it, and that's why.
I mean, to stop with the bullshitting, I think that it actually is, like, I mean, water is a very, especially big bodies of water are, like, at the same time kind of the birthplace of creation, but also really, really, and can, like, have this whole, like, healing, cleaning thing going on for them, but at the same time are just, like, hugely chaotic bringers of doom as well. And I think that's more that, like, creativity and, like, you know, exploring the self, and so much is like on top of the, you know, on the top of the water surface, and but what, like, all the stuff that's below.
Yeah. There's a duality to
Yeah. there's a
two
big
oceans. And
duality
that's right.
to
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
And I have been in
Absolutely.
the ocean just at the RL streamer. I took the chance to be near the coastline in Harlem to actually have a dip in the ocean because I just love it. I would love.
Nice.
I will move closer to the coast at some point.
Sounds like it's
No.
beckoning you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I think it is.
Now, before we move on to Nate, I just have to say thank you, chat, for, well, let's call it our first hype train
Woot woot.
of the day. A hype train that, as far as I can tell, we've pulled in over 1,700 bits at this point, and more to come.
Thanks, chat.
So thank you, chat. It's wonderful to know that you are this supportive of us. It's wonderful for you to be here and support, but it's equally as wonderful, and maybe even more so, to know that you think this is worth spending your bits on. Also, welcome in Hellbent Bear, of course, and Jekla, who came in since last I said anything to welcome people. Now we move on to former host of the New Tune Showcase. Just to put extra pressure on you, I'm
Ugh.
going to call you that.
Not
Nate
host
Silas.
today, though. I'm
Not
just
today.
some next brat today. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to, when in Rome, you know, birds of a feather, as the saying goes. I think I'm going to also do a water-based song. I think I will just play it and then talk about it after. So here we go. Sky stretched out in radiant blue, brighter than anything I ever knew. In the water, to my knees, sunlight streaming through the the trees, feel the current flow, cold as melting snow. Will it carry me to the open sea? Not a soul is around, wading deeper. I don't make any sound in the water. To my spine, sunlight streaming between the pines. Feel the current flow, cold as melting snow. Will it carry me to the open sea? Wondrous place, no tears on my face. Perfect day to simply float away. Sky stretched out in dusky blue reminds me that there's still more to do. Leave the water, go in peace. Sunlight setting behind the trees. Feel the current flow. It goes where it goes. It won't carry me to the open sea. Feel the current flow. It goes where it goes. It won't carry me to the open sea. To the open sea. Oh, thank you very much.
The
That one's
tune's
entitled
really-
To the Open Sea.
It feels like you're also touching on the duality, a different duality of the water, the shoreline and the comfort of there compared to the open and scary sort of.
The tunes
wide.
really reminded me of gave me like Red Hot Chili Peppers vibes.
Ah, that's
see that, yeah.
actually. I had never thought of that, but as soon as you say it, I can think, yeah, that definitely some of the phrasing, that is the kind of thing Anthony Kiedis might do. Yeah, I will take that as praise. Cool. Yeah, it is quite a duality being in it was from a real day that I had one time, and the sky just really was this beautiful shade of blue. And I was, just in a delightful mood, and this river back in my hometown in Canada. And I was just thinking about, but yeah, what if I did just float down the river? You know, what's at the mouth of the river? And that it kind of went from there.
When? How old is this song?
It is a couple of years old now. I think this would have been. It was over the the pandemic, when it was quite a challenge even to get home. And then when I was there, I had to quarantine for 2/3 of the visit. So I think I thought, okay, during those brief bits where I'm able to actually go out and do things, I'm going to, the Souk River is what it's called, without, revealing too many secrets. Anyone who's from my hometown will definitely know about it. And there was just a really beautiful summer's day. I was just glad to be out in the world. And there were other people there. So that line about not a soul is around, that was a bit imagined. Took some creative license with that. But there were fewer people than there would normally have been, certainly.
Isn't it funny how surreal the whole pandemic situation feels?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I was. Gosh, yeah, that was it was a strange time. Just how time seemed to go on forever. Which is, a day would. I remember this anecdote. I think kind of sums it up for me because I was in a house share with my now wife, 2 other guys, and I remember this one guy walked into the kitchen, kind of looked around, looked at his watch. He said, "Oh God, it's only 2:00." Just, that said it all. Well, I've done everything I can possibly do today, and can't really go to bed now. So okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I got lucky. I worked with something that meant I still had to go to work.
Okay.
Which sounds on a at regular times sounds like bad luck. But actually during pandemic times, the fact that I still had a regular day job that I went to as normal, wow. Looking at how everyone else was suffering, I can see that, yeah, I got lucky. Yeah.
Just chiming in really quickly. I pushed myself up, like the volume a little bit. Is it better now?
I can hear you. Okay.
Say so, yeah.
Yeah? All right. Oh. It's still very quiet.
It's still quiet, not as quiet, I would say. I think it more to do with the distance to the microphone when you're sitting the way you are.
Yes, but this is, I don't want to be
Yeah.
constantly bowing over.
No, I get that. I get
That's
that.
about what I can do, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. I think it works, put it that way. I don't think it's a disaster, as it were. So
It's not a disaster. This should
it's
go
not
on
a disaster.
t-shirt.
My point is, it could be improved. It doesn't have to be improved.
Oh, okay.
So-
Irene says it's softer on Twitch. That's something to consider.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, Steven, I don't think we do. I think we have 2 guitarists
Yeah.
with flipped screens, flipped images. I'm not entirely sure about Nate. I think I asked you before, and I think we've concluded that you're not a lefty, right?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, and I know for a fact because I've played guitar with Joswefi, so I know that she's not a lefty.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. No, Steven, it's nothing to be apologetic about. Lest you start blaming people for not being lefties. Okay. This is not going very well. Hang on. So I'm gonna open with a song that's fairly pointless. I wrote this song a number of years ago. And 2 out of 3 songs I have prepared for the day, both of the older songs today, are just written about sexy people. Oh yeah, wait, I should get the lyrics up so I can actually sing the song. Is it very dark? I'm realizing it's very dark around me. Hang on. Maybe better? You'll never know I hit you. You'll go out of your mind. And once the shock has settled, you'll never leave it behind. She'll knock you down to your knees on the floor, and then she'll take her time, have you begging for more. Oh, Vicky the Vixen. And once she's finished with you, you'll never forget it. You'll come back again and again. You'll be desperate for it. She'll rock you down to your knees on the floor, and then she'll take her time, have you begging for more. Oh, Vicky the Vixen. She'll knock you down to your knees on the floor, and then she'll take her time, have you begging for more. Vicky the Vixen. It's definitely one of my shortest songs. So yeah, that's just a song about someone sexy. I figured I'd do something short to begin with, because we know that DiscoRichard needs to leave pretty soon. So rather than talk about my song, I'm hoping that you'll have time to do your new song before you heck off. Yes. Then we'll just do this and what? Didn't want to work. There you go. And go, Richard.
Yes, thank you so much for hurrying up a bit. I'm gonna just gonna figure this out now. Hello. Okay, so this is the prompt song. Can we call it that? Let's do it. Let's do it like that.
Prompt was carried away. Let's just repeat that for the chat before we go, and then we go.
Yeah, so this song is simply called Carried Away. Let's see now if I can switch my camera as well. There we go. get carried away. I get carried away. I get carried away. I get carried away. I get carried away almost every day. Everything is a delay, like an unwanted decay. I get carried away. I get carried away. I get carried away. I do too much. Sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be enough? I do too much. Sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be this tough? Let's get carried away. let's do this every day. It might take some time, you know, I can take that blow. Let's get carried away. Let's get carried away. Let's get carried away. I do too much, and sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be this tough? I do too much, and sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be this tough? I get carried away. I do too much, and sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be this tough? I do too much, and sure enough, the edges become rough. Should it be this tough? I do too much. Let's get carried away. 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 Carried away.
I really like the turn you put in there from the whole sort of like my interpretation of the lyric is doing too much, as in having too many projects, getting carried away with taking on responsibilities, and then not perhaps managing to go really into and sort of detailing and finishing things, right? The edges become rough. Could it be enough, right? But then at one point, and I at first I was consciously, I only heard it once, you went into let's get carried away rather than I get carried away. Which instead kind of the thing we talked about before with sort of the flow of the creative process. Like on the one hand, not get carried away with taking on things, but get carried away with doing things.
It's like that double-edged sword I was talking about before. Like, I both hate it and I love it. So the first part of the song, like the first half, it's a problem. It's an issue. Like, should it be this way? Like, is it really supposed to be this way? And in the second half, it's like, yeah, it should be like this. It's perfect, just as it is. So that was my take on the prompt.
I like it. It's good. Any other comments and thoughts?
I think I can agree with what you're saying, that if it's in your nature to do too much, to overachieve, or at least over-involve yourself, then I think that doesn't necessarily have to be seen as something pathological that needs to be addressed. Sometimes that is just part of who we are, and it's almost like fish gonna swim, busy people gonna be busy. I think I can relate to that as well. Because I suppose it's sometimes difficult to decide when it is a problem and when it isn't. Because, you know, if everything were completely no stress and calm all the time, then how much would we actually get out of life? But then, yeah, if you're doing so many projects that you're sleeping 2 hours a night and like have all sorts of poor health indicators, and I guess maybe those are the things, but it's tough to.
I also think that having a creative mind is that's how we work, you know. You can't not like really dive into things, and it takes over your well-being almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember at one point, I think it was during a New Tune Showcase, everyone was asked, why do you create music? I think it may have been during a New Tune Showcase, it may have been in another context. And the thing you're saying about as a creative mind, you can't not. And that's kind of, I hope and I think I can speak for everyone, otherwise I'm talking out my ass. When it comes to why do we create music, well, can't not. Right?
It's hard not to, yeah.
Yeah, there's the urge to, the creative process and the creative expression is there's an urge in there that we
almost
have to,
addictive. Like it's
yeah,
like a drug.
it's an itch to scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Absolutely.
and yeah, I think there's sort of a misconception with people who say that they're not musicians. I don't want to name anyone, but yeah, people who I think and around education, I think there is what I would say is a misconception that music is something that you need to be initiated into if you don't play an instrument or if you don't sing in a particular operatic style, or if you don't have an extremely good sense of pitch, that you're not actually making music. Whereas I think those same people wouldn't think anything of doodling in the margins of their book. They'd say, oh yeah, I was just doodling. They probably would say, oh, it's not the greatest art, but at least they would acknowledge it is visual art. Whereas they might say, oh, singing in the shower, that doesn't count as anything. But yeah, I think if a person likes making sound, putting together notes and making melodies, then they've made music, whether they decide to develop it. That's the difference, I think, is, yeah, some of us just have a need. They can't not make it into a song, whether it's a verse and a chorus or whether it's a 40-minute rock opera, whatever. But I think, yeah, most people, have a need to kind of make some sound. And then some of us have a need to push it infinitely.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Thank you so much for listening, by the way.
It was a banger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank to the chat for all the hype. I
Before
see
you run
all there.
off,
Yeah.
is there anything we need to market for you now? Do you have any new releases coming out? Do you have any projects you're working on that's about to be presented? Or do you have anything on the sort of on the near radar that's...
Yeah, if you join my Discord, you can probably figure it out. Go to my channels or something. You can just keep being updated in the announcements. We'll do an 8-hour songwriting stream somewhere in December, I think, with my band, Dayburst, where usually we write an album in a day. So that's something you can check out.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. Do pass that along to me and or Pinball and or Irene as well, so we can market it through Together Wherever, because it's a very Together Wherever kind of thing to be doing, right?
Yeah.
An album in 8 hours. That sounds amazing. Thank you very much for participating. I can tell you, I can see now that it is 5:30, which was your cutoff point. So if you have to run, you have to run. Definitely going to try and rope you in again, because it's always a great time having you here.
Maybe I should frame this.
Yeah, quite possibly.
It's nice. Okay.
All right.
I'll see you. Take care.
Yeah, that was
Take
awesome,
care.
Richard. Good to meet you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. And so there were 4. Whoops. And so there were 3.
Uh-oh. Dropping like flies.
So
I really
what
like-
happened with Amelie's camera again, I fear, maybe. I'm not
Whilst
sure.
we're stretching, I really like the phrase Richard's Discord. That has a nice little assonance
It's
to
almost it feels almost like it's a palindrome, but it's not.
it. Yeah. Taco Cat. Race car.
Yes, exactly.
Disco Richard's Discord. Disco Richard's Disco Discord.
Oh goodness, we're gonna be here all day. So
Doing the
moving
coolest thing.
along next up is Joswefi.
Okay.
So let's hear how you interpreted the. I think me and Pinball keep moving things around across each other and mucking it up.
Let's see if we can get this. For those who don't know, my guitar cable ended up not working yesterday. That's why I have a different mic today. Someone is wondering about the sound here. But yes, do you want me to talk something about the song, or should I just play it and talk afterwards?
completely up to you whether you want to talk about it first or talk about it afterwards. Afterwards, we will be questioning you regardless. So
Okay, well, I'll play it and we'll see if someone, well, there are a few people from my community who may have heard a little bit. I kind of teased a little bit on Tuesday what it was about, but yeah, I'll play it first. So let's see. Starts with a spark, piquing my interest. Nothing too serious. It seeps in slowly. The magic turns into something mysterious. Even if I'm so aware, I forget time and space once I'm there. Call it fascination, infatuation. It might cause some aggravation. Call it imagination, inspiration. Some might feel some frustration. Call it fascination. There's a force that pulls me in. I end up in the ocean trying to swim. People around me become non-existent. The endless greed keeps me persistent. Tunnel vision, I am all alone. I want this feeling to swallow me whole. Call it fascination, infatuation. It might cause some aggravation. Call it imagination, inspiration. Some might feel some frustration. Call it fascination, infatuation. Call it fascination, intoxication. Fascination. Inspiration. Intoxication. Call it fascination, infatuation. Might cause some aggravation. Call it imagination, inspiration. Some might feel some frustration. Call it fascination, infatuation. Call it imagination, inspiration. Call it fascination, infatuation. Here we go. So the song is called Fascination, if someone was wondering. I didn't even say that, I think.
I think that was almost assumed, the title.
Yeah. I thought
So
so.
do tell us, how did the thought process go before we start asking you in-depth questions? How did
Yeah, I
the
was like
process-
carried away, and then it was like, well, I myself get carried away with a lot of things. Like I said in the beginning of this stream, some people think that I have 150% personality most of the time. Most of my family members, I think, are like, oh, now Joswefi is like really into this. It's like I kind of try to put words into like how I feel about things when I get very, 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 very interested in stuff. I get very like tunnel vision, and is it fascination, or is it inspiration, or is it even an obsession? I didn't even use that word in the song, but some of my friends are like, you're obsessed with this, but not in a way where I'm like not going to work, or like where it goes into that kind of obsession, but like I'm very much into something. And that feeling, I feel like, am I the only one in the world who gets like that totally like just, I don't know, drawn into something, and like I can't stop. Like that's the only thing I want to talk about, the only thing that I want to do. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. And it can be like I said, like some kind of interest. It could be music, it could be anime, which I'm very into now, and Japanese. It can be a person, like, oh, we click so well, this person is like so nice, or whatever. It can be whatever. I tend to get very interested, and I don't know the reasons for it, but it just happens. So it's kind of like a biography of explaining
I think
my personality a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I think that kind of obsession where something locks in your mind and it's just everything for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's something a lot of people do experience. Hyper focus in what interests you and what you found interesting is something, of course, that specifically is often talked about regarding the NPF spectrum, autism spectrum, etc. But I think it's one of those things that you talk about in that context a lot, but it's something that everyone does, just at varying degrees, I think, personally. I mean, I've definitely recognized it as well. You find it can be, you know, a news band, or an album, or a TV show, or your own music, something that you're really happy with how it turned out. Like, I absolutely get it. The sort of, this is my head now.
Yeah, I have an example right now. I just realized I've been listening to like Japanese pop music, and I found this artist, and I'm so fascinated with I had this with Sia like in the past. Also, I'm so fascinated with her voice, and I cannot pinpoint what it is, but I just want to listen to it because like I'm very That's one of the things I'm obsessed with at the moment. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Joey also has an interesting question. Did we just describe falling in love? And yeah, kind of, but with a thing in this case. But yeah, it is similar to sort of, because it's the dopamine kick of this thing that you're passionate about right now. And that can be a person.
It can be a person. Yeah, I said a person or whatever it can be. And it can be also not like love. It can be finding a new friend that you're very like, oh, we're, I don't know, shared interest or whatever. It can be whoever as well, but obviously love comes into the mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely.
Are there any particular Japanese pop artists that you are absolutely fixated on right now?
Yeah, it's
who's the one with the voice?
I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but it's spelled like Kanako with like a C. Kon. I can write it in chat.
Oh yeah.
And then I watched an anime which was called Girls Band Cry, and that band was great. So it started from there actually, and I was obsessed with their songs. I thought they were really cool, and they were like, because they had written songs for the anime, and so it had a very like emotional meaning in the anime, and then like I just wanted to listen to the songs. They were very good songs. So
they were songs written specifically for the show.
Yeah. They have other songs too that were not on the show, but that's also a band I'm kind of a little bit obsessed with. They have really, I don't know, I like their style and stuff like that. So I need to remember what the band is called, which I've forgotten, but I'll write it in chat.
Yeah, pop her in there.
Yes.
We'll see how fixated the rest of us might get on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Japanese pop, from what I remember of it from when I had my sort of Japan obsession myself in my early 20s, it's interesting because it's very different from the Western pop. And it's what I defined it at some point, J-pop, as it's what happens if bubblegum pop, as in, you know, the boy band, girl bands from the 90s, if that had just kept evolving as a genre rather than being pushed aside by other pop genres coming in the West, you would have gotten what is now J-pop, or at least was 10 years ago. Like, it sounded like a developed development and evolution of the bubblegum pop.
And I feel there's also sort of a deep melancholy kind of lingering in the background as well with such Japanese pop as I've heard. Maybe I might
I've
be
never
listening-
reflected on
Yeah.
that actually.
You
But
should
yeah.
Nate should definitely listen to the girls band Cry Band when I invited it, because that's more towards rock, I would say, and
Okay.
there's a lot of angst in the lyrics and both in like the music. Speaking of, because I think the anime also is why I'm so interested in that, is due to the fact that it can be like, oh, it's cartoons and like silly things, but there's usually a lot of depth in a lot of them as well, which I think that kind of, it depends on my mood obviously, but why I get a little bit, why I'm interested in that
Yeah.
for sure.
Can we just give a little shout to Jiff for the very last message in the chat, which is just beautiful.
Yeah, he's changed. He
Sweaty
changed
San.
on Tuesday. My name is now
Sweaty-san and the
Swefi-san because
And
I
the
started
Wigglers is
talking.
just beautiful.
I started speaking Japanese in the stream, or I was
Ooh.
talking about what I had learned from Duolingo for 2 days. So-
Yeah, I had some kids the other week at work. Some of my pupils started calling each other baka without knowing what it was, and I'm like, "Do you realize what you're saying?" Just fantastic.
They should say kawaii.
Yeah,
That's much
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Amelie.
Hoot hoot.
Ooh.
I'm trying. I have had some issues with my video feed. We'll see if it all of a sudden craps out on me again or not. As is like a little bit of a theme here. I have the feeling the name for my song is also, I'm not quite sure what it is. I was working at it under the name Carried Away. I think it might be called The Road. We'll see. And the whole getting up and down and so on will happen. All right, and well, so far these are more like ideas for like a improv thingy. I have no clue where this is going. We will see where it's going. Okay, let's see.
like the room, the room, the room. It takes and gives life. Gripping the steering wheel, it's dripping with sweat and sorrow, never skipping the open road. It helps forgetting I'm slipping through hills and valleys and sipping my drink, never stopping as the road carries me away slide. Ooh, the road
Thank you.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think you still have a delay on somewhere.
Oh, possibly. Yes, I have. I do. I'm happy that I don't have like a on.
I mean, that would have been funny though.
Hello.
I had sudden sort of somewhere around like after about about a third way in, I suddenly had this vision of one of the old Dracula movies, the one with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Jinx.
With as he's riding horse and cart towards the castle, and everything is very ominous everywhere. And it's sort of just flashed that into a modern day actually driving or being like just a taxi cab up towards this ominous castle or something. And just sort of some kind of, I wrote down Halloween vibes in front of me on a paper. Because there was something very sort of, on the one hand, it didn't feel like the lyrics was particularly imposing and dangerous and sort of monstrous, but there was something about the sort of the way the whole music swayed that was just kind of spooky.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
get that a
vibes.
lot actually. That they somehow, I don't know, it's not deliberate. And like in the beginning, I am also at the, you mentioned the Halloween collab at some point.
Yes.
And at first I was like, why do all the songs that I'm writing currently sound kind of like an entry to the Halloween collab? I don't know. But I have the feeling it's just in the setup somehow. And I really, like someone, who was it? Like Joey said, no, Pinball actually said almost as much experience as song. And that is, like, this is what I'm interested in. It's like when these, I easily get bored with the typical song structure. And I mean, these are really repetitive, so I get it if other people would be like, oh, well, this is boring or something. But to me, it's just like it grows and grows and grows. And that kind of, I don't know, I like that. And I think this is where a lot of that ominousness, if that's a word, is coming from, because it's kind of like, more and more and more and more. And you're like, it's enough, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's, and I think also the use of the very sort of distant delay that you're using, where repeats come very far, like it's a lot of quiet before the, makes also the web a little bit kind of inhuman somehow,
Maybe.
in a way.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Possibly.
Pinball.
Possibly.
It's that kind of music where you just sort of close your eyes and just let it rock you, as it were.
That is kind of what I'm setting out to do. This is also, remember when I said my songs usually are not like the 3 to 4 minute radio playability duration.
No.
Like I could have gone on like 20 minutes more with this, but it was like
That was the radio edit.
Exactly, it was the radio edit.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, you did say you love the Mars Volta, so that tracks.
oh yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right. I love their really long songs, especially. And I mean, theirs often like they go places. They like have all the different, not as repetitive as mine, but all like, or like Bohemian Rhapsody. Where it's
Sure.
just
Yeah,
like,
different movements.
yeah. But yes.
Was there? I was going to ask about the lyrics. At one point, were you singing the right one?
No. The Road is what, like, I know that it sounds I'm begging you to carry me away. The road it takes and gives life.
Was that the bit that it hooked back quite a bit?
The road it takes and gives life. So my thinking was carried away. I don't like that term. It kind of gave me immediately like addictive feelings of like social media or whatever kind of not so nice things. And I wanted to find something where being carried away actually is enjoyable, if that makes sense. And from what some of you have been saying, it seemed like the creative process. Is that for me? I wouldn't describe that as being carried away necessarily. I get it that one can say, like, when flow happens, that would be that, but I don't know, the words just didn't fit to me. And so there is a great mix from a DJ that I know, and like he starts out with something like with a short story that is about someone who basically leaves his life behind and goes traveling and just sends back these postcards, and it's from the point of view of this person who's basically stayed home and is wondering where that person is at that moment or whatever. And that gave me like a little bit of this, I don't know, that feeling of like being carried away on the road, on like travels and stuff like that. And that was what I was trying to get into.
Yeah, I think like Sixios, I also imagined something very ominous. And I think with that kind of 3/4 feeling, I was imagining, in fact, specifically, even before you said Dracula, I was thinking vampires in a kind of macabre ball, sort of in a cavern where there's gigantic mounds of wax candles, and they're like holding red glasses of, well, probably blood, and like waltzing to that song. That's, maybe that's where the road leads.
I would love that. And I'm noticing now that my camera has crapped out again, but at least you can still hear me. So that's I mean,
exactly.
Audio is the most important thing of a music stream, I have heard. So
Sensibly should be. Yeah, we're all suffering with you with the camera. It's very, I mean,
It's
I
fine.
was gonna say it's quite annoying that it keeps doing that, and I mean, yeah, I find it annoying. Must be
I
nothing
can
compared to
redo
what you find it.
yeah, I can redo it in a second, but like once I'm not like answering stuff anymore.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do we have any more
Exactly.
thoughts, or are we moving on?
I don't know.
I think we're moving on then.
All right.
Nate.
Okay.
Baboom.
Well, so far, I think. So far, everyone has done kind of the metaphorical sense, the figurative sense of getting carried away. But the one I did is in the literal sense of, of a person being physically carried away. I think that's all I'm going to say for now. I might expand on that, both, a little bit later. I haven't really come up with the title. I think my working title is also Carried Away. Giving comfort, you always had the knack. Ailing family, you carried them on your back. Left one evening on the walking track. How are we to know you wouldn't be coming back? You set off on your own 2 feet that day. In the end they carried you away. It's a crying shame, and we've no one to blame that we've lost you. Is a world full of pain for the ones who remain without you. It's taken months to crack the disbelief. I guess that's the first stage of grief. Without you, carry on we must. All we learn from you, we'll carry it with us, carry it with us. It's a crying shame and there's no one to blame that we've lost you. Is the world full of pain for the ones who remain without you? It's a crying shame and the world's not the same without you. But our minds contain many wonderful thoughts about you. In our hearts and brains we carry the memory of you. In our hearts and brains we carry the memory of you. In our hearts and brains we carry the memory of you. Ooh.
That's
Thank you very much.
lyric and a half. Do tell more. Ooh.
Yeah, what was it all about? Well, yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier. It's been a pretty tough year for a lot of ways in my family, and that specific one is the first song I've written about that subject. Because the backstory is that my auntie passed away 2 years ago, almost exactly, which was very sad, and we miss her. But she'd been quite unwell for a while. So in a way, it was kind of, okay, well, she's not suffering anymore. But then completely out of nowhere, just in July, just gone, my cousin, the daughter of that auntie, she died very, very suddenly out of nowhere. And that was, that song is, I think, the first real bit that I've had to kind of process that grief, because it really doesn't even feel real right now. Like I've said it a few times out loud, and I've kind of messaged my uncle who's lost his daughter, but I just haven't really been able to internalize it as an actual reality. And just that, and I hadn't set out to write a downer of a song, because initially I think I was because when I hear Carried Away, I first think, getting out of control, sort of losing moderation, say. But then I thought, you know what, this could be a good opportunity. So I sort of explored the idea of being physically carried. And and initially I wanted it to be all in a major key. I thought that would be a good challenge. But then I was really happy with the... So I thought, okay, well, I'll get a minor chord in there. And I did maybe somewhat conspicuously put in the B7, and the reason for that is because Danny, that was my my late cousin's name, she was a really good singer and a bit of a guitar player. She was quite a bit older than me. She was about 20 years older. And when I was coming up as a musician, as a youth, as a teenager, she said, "Oh, a really good useful chord to learn is the B7." And I remember so clearly. It was at a bonfire on the beach like kind of late September around my mom's birthday. And I said, "Oh, I already know the E major." And Danny said, "Oh, well, B7, you just sort of move that finger here and that one there, and then you're doing a B7." So I thought, well, I'll have to get that one in there somehow. So there we go.
It's funny, isn't it, how some things will just always be about a person?
100%. 100%. Because I think, and I like that, how it wasn't specifically, because I do have another song about a friend of mine who passed away, and in that one I specifically mention her name, whereas this one I thought I wanted to do the tribute, in a more subtle way with that B7 chord. It's a beautiful chord tribute. Hellbent Bear, it does hurt, and it was, as I say, I am kind of still in the denial phase of grief if one follows those stages. But yeah, I think kind of in, I don't know, is bargaining the next one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been doing because Danny, she was really active in she had a dog. She had an adult son who I think he would have been, in his early 20s. But he was relatively independent, so the dog was kind of her baby. So she would go frequently with the dog, and she died whilst taking the dog on a walk. So the bargaining is kind of, well, I mean, it sucks. Like, it's really shit. It's really shit. But at least, she was doing something she loved. She was out enjoying herself and didn't suffer for a prolonged period of time. But yeah, it's a weird one. So there we go. I really appreciate everyone letting me open up about that, because I know it can be, I don't know, in our sort of Anglo-Northern European cultures, it's not always a thing a person discussed. Charlotte, hey, welcome in. Thank you for that. And I think it's weird looking at chat because I'm used to it going the newest one is on the bottom, but here the newest one is on the top. So I'm sort of catching up.
In our restream chat, I actually have, because I have two screens. I also have the Twitch page up on one screen with the regular chat to be able to type as well.
Yeah, I opened it briefly, but I didn't want to overtax my my bandwidth. But
no, that makes sense. I make sure that the stream itself is paused. Yeah, it's funny, that thing where you don't that limbo time when the head knows that they're not around anymore, but the heart is not there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strange thing.
It is, yeah, it really is. Without being a huge sado, a couple of weeks before that, the headline was that my dad was quite unwell. So we were all sort of putting our emotions into that. And to then have this this loss of a family member really just could not have been more out of the blue. Even my dad was saying, "What? That's the worst thing that's ever happened," as he's there in the hospital, in his own hospital bed. But at least with my dad, there's sort of a lot of positive news, like, treatments are going well, but this thing just, completely, it just doesn't even make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was nice.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that kind of thing, being in denial. I was actually thinking the next song I was going to do, I had two songs to choose between. I think I'm not going to do the song that is also about losing people before it's over. It's on Spotify anyway, so people can listen to it there. Yeah, but I can totally relate to that feeling still. It's been 5 years since we lost someone in kind of a tragic way. And it still kind of feels unreal at times. So I can totally understand that part of going through that. And the unexpected feeling. It was a beautiful song though. It was really
thing when someone tells you someone's passed away and you just go, "What?"
Yeah.
As if, what are you talking about? That didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's, I think, all of us in my my immediate family, that we've all said that to each other. I can't. I must have misread the email. I must have misheard you. And this is sort of 2 months on now. But so yeah, I feel like I might actually develop that one a little more. I might record it. We'll see, and maybe give it a bit more of a, I don't know, more of a creative title potentially, or maybe sort of an allusion to something that those in the know would get. But yeah, genuinely, thanks everyone for sort of supporting me with that.
Well,
with the Twitch group empathy.
We do want to know where the songs come from, so it's part of the show, part of the way this works.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Goodness.
But yeah, I'm ready to yield the floor if we're going
hand
another
over.
round.
That leaves only me, who haven't played the new song yet. This part of me is feeling that I'm quite nervous about playing this song now, because this is such a completely not serious song. carried away. I was also going to do the whole sort of the physical carrying thing. But in my mind, my first idea was to do something fantasy based and just sort of, being picked up by a rock, as in, the massive eagle from, I think, Egyptian mythology originally, that also exists in the Dungeons and Dragons world, and like actually being just sort of carried off by like a monster of some kind, or sort of something like that was my first thought. But then I came to think of a Swedish song called Gräsänkling Blues, which is, Gräsänkling is a very strange Swedish expression, which means, if you directly translate, it becomes grass widower, which doesn't make any sense, or weed widower. But it refers to married men who are away from their wives for a time and therefore start kind of acting like bachelors, maybe not hitting on people and sort of, cheating and things, but like, okay, so the wife is away for a conference, so maybe you don't really do the dishes as often as you would if she was there. Maybe you don't bother making the bed in the morning. Maybe you don't, you get a little slobby because your partner who you're sort of trying to make life manageable for is away. And so I ended up writing, because I'm still single and have been since forever, and I am a bit of a slob, so I ended up instead writing something I called the Bachelor's Blues. Oh, that doesn't sound good. There we go. And it's just silly, which is very sort of... feels very wrong after what you just did, Nate.
It's okay. The contrast is what makes it beautiful.
That is true. We've had very different interpretations of this prompt today, which is what this show should be about. I wake up in the morning, drag myself into bed. I take a look around me, and as I turn my head, there's dishes in the sink. There's laundry on the floor, and I'd be ashamed to let someone in my door. I better get a vacuum, I better get a rag, 'cause there's a funky smell coming from the trash bag. And the only way, I need a cleaning day. Oh, but then I see my PC, and then I see my Switch. I take never mind even which. Talk with the neighbor lady, play my guitar, maybe have a lovely day in every single way. And later in the evening, drag myself into bed. I take a look around me, and as I turn my head, there's still dishes in the sink, still laundry on the floor. And I'm kinda glad I let no one in my door. I didn't get no vacuum, and I didn't get no rag. There's an even funkier smell coming from the trash bag. Oh, it's no excuse, but I'll say I got carried away. Yeah. Oh, wake up in the morning, drag myself out of bed, take a look around me, and as I turn my head, there's dishes in the sink, there's laundry on the floor, and I'd be ashamed to let someone in my door. I better get a vacuum, I better get a rag, 'cause there's a funky smell coming from the trash bag. And the only way, I need a cleaning day. But then I see my PC and then I see my Switch. I call up a friend, never mind even which. Chat with the next door lady, play my guitar, maybe have a lovely day in every single way. And later in the evening, drag myself into bed. I take a look around me, and as I turn my head, there's still dishes in the sink, still laundry on the floor, and now I'm kinda glad I let no one in my door. I didn't get the vacuum, I didn't get a rag. There's an even funkier smell coming from my trash bag. It's no excuse, but I'll say I got carried away. There.
Magnificent
Thank you.
and very relatable.
Maybe, yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping it's not just me. I'm gonna have to read the chat now to see what just happens here.
I think you were getting a lot of support. I think chat felt very seen with that song.
I really like how there's some going, stop describing your life, and I was going, get out of my head.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, chat. I think surely that's worth some bits. You know, just seeing yourself reflected.
Exactly.
Music.
Remember, all payments coming in today are going to be shared between the participants of the show. So do please feel free if you have some bits or
if you've got extra
money
bits, yeah,
exactly, to spare.
Help the man buy some new trash bags so he can take out the old ones.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, that is silly. And the sort of, I had this idea. Actually, I have a tendency to get stuck on ideas, and I'll write a number of songs with the same idea, in some way, and that's not usually, not lyrically, but musical ideas specifically. And I have we're currently doing a collab jig for Christmas, and we're also doing a collab for Halloween. Hameta was in here before. I don't know if she's still in here. Oh, some random bachelor.
Yes.
Thank you for the
very
$25.
generous.
That is very generous, and that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tip of the cap.
So we're doing a collaboration for Halloween run by the wonderful Hameta, who has also been on the New Tune Showcase a number of times, of course. And we actually, the idea of double timing a chorus or a B part also is going to happen in my Halloween collab thing, because that's what I'm doing right now, like going from that sort of to the, because there's something very wonderful about doubling tempos and just using it to switch the feel of a song. And in this case, of course, illustrating the whole being carried away with all of the fun things in the world by just playing everything double tempo before coming back to the, oh shit, I should have taken care of this stuff today.
I live in my own filth.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
And rather amusingly, I was talking to Kat the other day, Kat Listokai, and she described it as, well, your place looks so clean. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I have a camera that's focused on a very small part of my apartment when I stream.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, just if you take this sort of windowsill here, this is basically how all of my windowsills look, for instance. And also any flat surface. I think it's Adam Savage that said that any flat surface no flat surface will remain empty. Like tabletops in my apartment, there's no space on any tabletop. There's stuff everywhere, you know. Kitchen table may be sort of an exception, but yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, and I think, because realistically, whatever your brand is as a streamer, we do kind of want to put our best foot forward, I think. I mean, some people, they're immaculate in every aspect of it with the lighting. But I think we all of us, we want to show, we don't want to see every single bit of our dwelling. We don't want people to see, like the flies buzzing around the old cat food in the corner. I don't even have a cat. No, I do have a cat, but yeah, never pan the camera, says GIF83. Never pan the camera.
It's
yeah.
very true. That's very fair.
That feels very ironic that you said a fly, because I earlier, well, now it's gone, but I had a fly on the screen. I was like, I hope it doesn't fly in front of the camera. I don't know where it came from. It's not because it's like not clean in here. It was just, I was like, I don't want the fly to be on camera.
But there's also, I mean, as far as houseflies goes, especially, it's like spiders this time of year in Sweden. When it's starting to get properly cold at night, they find somewhere warm to go.
They'd be crazy.
And they managed to get, I had a spider this size, basically, next to my ceiling light in my bedroom when I woke up the other week. On Saturday morning, I just sort of turn on the light and I look up and I go, oh, hi there. I need to go to the shower. So, yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
The fly is okay. No, I can accept. Okay, I'm happy it's not a big, huge spider.
See, I'd rather spiders than flies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For the simple reason that spiders eat all the other creepy crawlies, including the other ones. If you have a fly, especially you have one fruit fly, suddenly you're going to have 50 fruit flies in your damn apartment.
That's
If you have 50 spiders, eventually you're going to have one fat spider. So
A Shelob-sized spider. Horrifying. I'm going to give myself nightmares. Bob the bathroom spider.
I'm good with spiders so long as they don't appear very close very suddenly. That's sort of I've at work at one point I had this size spider come was in a curtain when I closed the curtain and it fell onto my back and I didn't realize and it came crawling over my shoulder. Reptile brain just went huh, sort of.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the only time I've really had a problem with it.
Well, what do you feed? Orcses, of course.
Exactly. Nasty, stinky orcses. Yeah, so that was our new songs. I hope and imagine we have one more in the tube, as it were.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So we'll do another round, which will be a far shorter round with only 3 people. But absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Can we just, before we do a new round, though, just an extra thank you to Amelie, who had to drop off mid-other performance. It's been fantastic to hear your music, and I'm so grateful that you wanted to join the show, Amelie. So yeah, thank you very much for being around and for sticking around when everything crapped out in the chat, which is fantastic as well.
You gave it your damnedest. There were a good few efforts to keep things going, so that's wicked.
Absolutely.
Schön, dass du da warst. Schön, dass du da bist. Nice that you were here. Nice that you still are here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so one more song?
I think one more song.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna pick the more hopeful one. The non-depressing one, I think. Because I think it's my turn, right?
Yeah, because it would have been Richard's turn, but he
Yes.
made like a tree and got out of here.
Every time. The guitar is important, apparently.
Get the old guitar.
If I don't want to sing a cappella, which I don't, so.
It's a very pretty guitar.
Thank you. I bought it actually from a community friend.
Oh. I still have, I was going to say your guitar, which is not true, but the guitar, for those of you who don't know, I visited Joswefi at her apartment and we did a co-stream in the same room in August, early August. So yeah, I've been there, which is why I also almost asked if you've sort of redecorated your living room, because it looks like you're in the opposite corner, but then I realized, no, it's the camera that's flipped.
It's the camera that's flipped, so this is the wall, but it's supposed to be on the other side.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But I was given a nylon string guitar, which is in fact in my guitar rack, the other end of the room.
Yeah,
and it's appeared on stream a few times.
Ironically, I had too many guitars.
Yeah, because you had like 4?
5.
And now that I have it instead, I have 9, but I don't have too many guitars. I don't know how that works.
But now I only have 4, so I'm happy with this amount of guitars. So thank you for taking it.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah, and also I want to say like why I call myself a non-musician. I would never say that to anyone else. Like I don't feel people who do it as a hobby or anything that's wrong. but I have my reasons for that because I have so many other things. Anyways, just to kind of say that it's not
Yeah.
like as if I see other people who are like, oh, I like doing music like for fun. Like, oh, you're not a musician. I would never say that. It's just my own little thing that I have.
An
Just so
important
you know.
distinction that is easily misunderstood.
Yes, and you're gonna notice why also in my channel sometimes people in chat call me Scroll Sweffy. I have a lot of different nicknames. I never had in real life. I never had nicknames, but I have like gained so many nicknames on Twitch, so that kind of like has like given me my entire life. You know, my nicknames have come now. Let's just say that. So Scroll Sweffy is one of the nicknames I've gotten from the community. And Jiff knows what I'm talking about. If Joey's still here, he also knows what I'm talking about. So you're probably gonna notice because I have this in this song in a Google document. But this song is a little bit more hopeful. Hopefully. And no pun intended. I wrote this. This is the first song I actually wrote in, not the first song I wrote in English, but the more serious first song. So it's more than 2 years old. And yeah, it was kind of my first more serious song that I just wrote for myself, which I was never gonna produce or anything or introduce to people. So it's called 7 and 8. So let me see. We have the... Oh yeah, I need a capo also. Let's not forget the capo. I'm gonna wonder why it's not working otherwise. Life is a roller coaster filled with chaos and love. Nothing is forever. It's what I've been thinking of. Lift your head up, look to the stars. They will be saying, scroll. Fall down 7 times, stand up, yeah. Fall down 7 times, stand up, yeah. This is how you'll find your own strength. Believing in you, caring for you will be your biggest achievement. Love comes around when you have found what to believe in. Lift your head up, look to the stars. They will be saying, fall down 7 times, stand up, yeah. Fall down 7 times, stand up, yeah. This is how you will find your own strength. Some days may be hard and that's okay too. Just don't forget that there are people out there for you. When you're unsure, there is a cure for what you're feeling. Lift your head up, look to the stars, and they will be saying, stand up the 8, fall down 7 times, stand up the 8. This is how you will find your own strength. This is how you will find your own strength. A cure for what you're feeling, yes. Cat, yes, yes.
Yeah, hopeful.
Yeah, a little
The
bit.
idea of facing adversity. I like it.
More about, it's kind of the opposite of, I feel like, well, Muddy Water's a little bit the same, but this is a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
In a sense. So yeah.
Yeah, and about resilience and perseverance, how you just got to keep going.
Yeah, it's a little bit about like grit. It's not about like grit in a sense of like you should just keep it together and like you're not allowed to feel defeated. It's just more like there are people, like the bridge says, there are people out there for you. And when you're feeling like insecure or whatever it may be, there's always like a cure, a cure for what you're feeling, you know, like talk to people or you can do other things, you know.
And it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. It's a little bit like that too. Like it says in the lyrics a little bit, I think. Like believing in you and like yeah. It's a mix of like both being like encouraging to like that will be your biggest achievement, like believing in yourself, but also if you feel unsure, then there are cures for that. It's funny because it rhymes when I say it like this.
And if you can't believe in yourself, believe in me believing in you. Speaking of, we were speaking about anime before. That's from an anime called Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, which is one of the least serious animes I've ever seen. But it's a great quote. They play it off as a sort of corny, overly hyped thing, but in a way, there's actually some wisdom there. Like you might not believe you can do it, but I do. So
Yeah.
if you can't believe in yourself, believe in that I believe in you. You know, important.
I wrote this song when back in 2022. It's been crazy. I just thought about it today. I've been doing music streams for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I was unemployed at the moment. For the moment. And for those who don't know, I have 3 different educations, so that was kind of rough to feel like, okay, I studied, I have a bunch of like work experiences, but people are not willing to hire. And I was also laid off from jobs for no reason, actually. So that was definitely a point where I was like, okay, I might not. Like, you start questioning yourself, even if you believe in yourself. And this song is kind of that. It's like, it's about that and kind of encouraging. So sometimes when chat requests this song and I have had like a iffy day, you know, we all have those days and we have good and bad days. And sometimes when I stream, I might not have had the best day. And when I start singing this song, I realize at some point I'm like, oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
It kind of turns my mood around a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes that's how you remind yourself that you're supposed to believe in yourself. You're supposed
Yeah.
to. You know.
With your own song.
Yeah.
I'm narcissistic.
Yeah, no. The thing is,
funny.
I don't think it is narcissistic.
No,
because,
it's not, but it's
because
just funny.
you know, I mean, if there's ever anything that should be speaking to you and your mind, it should be the thing that your mind came up with. Surely.
Yeah, definitely. And I wrote it to like I said in the beginning, I wrote it for myself, and I was never gonna. I wasn't even like music streaming almost at the point when I wrote it. I think I don't remember anymore, but it was like in the It's just funny.
It wasn't necessarily intended for other people to hear.
No.
Yeah.
But then I thought maybe people get encouraged. I felt like it's a universal thing, and sharing that with people, they might feel that they get something out of the song. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just liking the chat with Kat.
Yeah, I
spelling,
saw it.
spelling narcissistic, maybe in a
With all of the
non-standard way.
Cs.
It's all the C's.
Cat-
Really putting the C in
Maybe in a
narcissistic.
non-standard
Keep-
way. It's such a great phrase.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Can I
Yeah.
say something?
Yeah, defo.
Fall down 7 times, get up to 8.
Yes,
With the spelling.
that's the one. That's the one.
Actually, I'm the worst speller. I'm even known in Carmela's community as the person who spells the worst. So they count my spelling. They have a counter in there. So
For your
just
spelling
saying to
errors.
chat, if you're ever worried about that, then just saying.
Yeah. Kat, just so you don't think I'm having a go, as
You having a Rory?
what I thought was more funny was your like self-deprecating, gives up on spelling. But I needed to give context by explaining that you'd spelled narcissistic in it different from how I would spell it, say.
Oh yeah, Jeff, that's true. I do have a tiny, the irony, a tiny emote that says spelling fail.
My little brother has, who is a far superior, or at least was while he was still working on it, a far superior songwriter to me, but not a streamer, so I can't invite him to this show. Back when he was still making music and making a lot of video game music and chiptunes and stuff, his SoundCloud page, which is still active, was spelling failure, but with a PH for failure. Just rather perfect.
That's good. Funny.
I was
great.
thinking about something and then I forgot again. Probably not important then.
Happens to me all the time.
Was it spelling related? Because I think that is a gold mine. We need to continue.
Yeah,
If you don't,
the thing is that it wasn't. It was before the spelling discussion, and now my head's full of spelling errors, as it were. So
Oh well. I usually use the excuse for my failure in language or whatever it is that I speak 4.5 languages, so I get confused, and then spelling just is a mess also.
hey, Sarah Lyman, hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, it's spelling and languages and goodness. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's also funny because I have the ChatGPT style of English, in that if I don't know how to say something, I'll just make something up, which sounds good. And that's why there are people both from the US and from the UK who think like, how is your English better than mine? And I'm like, it's not. I'm just creative.
Fake it till you make it. That's
Yep.
the Sixios approach.
Always.
Most definitely. And I think, does anyone watch Schitt's Creek? Are we familiar with the inimitable Moira Rose as brought to life by Catherine O'Hara? Let me know in chat. Who knows? She's great. Just her use of like very pretentious vocabulary, often used correctly, but questionably so. I think that's hilarious writing.
Yeah, Kat, fine. You have to look up every third word I say. Fine, absolutely. Do you actually find a definition, or was it just that I made it up? That's the question. They all exist.
Well,
I
I
think
guess
fact-
if you say it, it exists now. Whether it's
Fair.
whether the Oxford English Dictionary would put it in there, Webster's maybe would. We'll see.
To be fair, dictionaries, etc., are not about what words exist. They're about which ones they know of. Like, they are not rule books.
No.
They are just written down. How is this usually done? It's just habits and traditions written down. It's not rules. It's more like guidelines than actual rules, you might say.
Like the Pirate's Code.
That's my point. Yeah.
Oh, Pinball Sorcerer, you are preaching to the choir there. Travesty of the word, literally. Oh, but I feel that ship has sailed, unfortunately. That bell can't be unrung. Literally now means whatever you need it to. It can mean figuratively.
Mostly means figuratively, though.
It mostly doesn't mean what does figuratively mean, then?
It literally means figuratively, though. It's wonderfully good.
Actually, I don't know if we want to go. We have talked quite a bit on language usage, but I don't know. Chat and Joswefi and Sixios, do you have a particular word or usage that really does grate on you? Not necessarily that you want to be snobbish about it, but just certain constructions that drive you insane.
Shall I
English.
phrase this in one of those
Or Swedish, I guess.
for frack's sake 6 kind of ways, and say you're asking for a linguistic pet peeve?
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
I have English words that I have issues with. The word that was mentioned in chat, literally, it's hard when you speak on stream and you speak your third language, which is English. For me, is kind of tricky. I want to add that success because she said, how many countries did we have in here today? 3. We actually have 4 because I'm half Finnish. Shouldn't that be counted?
So 3.5 then.
So literally,
Left or right half?
I say right because Finland is east from Sweden, right?
Fair.
I'm showing my bad geography skills now. Never mind. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, I think linguistic pet peeve is the one. So it could be just a word. So yeah, the actual sound of a word that you dislike, or the connotations, or potentially non-standard usage, which does get potentially into problematic territory, because no one really wants to be, who does have the right to tell someone how they can and can't use words. But
Yeah, I think
I have
that's
certain
the issue.
things. I have certain things. One of my absolute sort of, because it just makes someone sound borderline illiterate, is, and this is an American thing, I think, an Americanism, is when the words should have contract to should have and then become should of, of.
ooh, yeah.
When you, instead of the apostrophe ve, write it as of, of. It makes me want to kill people.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, because I am also a teacher. I don't know if that's come up over the stream, and I feel like, generally speaking, I'm pretty forgiving, because I've taught from 6 to 16, so it's a wide range of language competency, mostly native speakers of English, but more so when I was in London. Maybe 1 or 2 other languages spoken at home. Less so in Cornwall. Cornwall is many things, but it's not super ethnically diverse. But nevertheless, there are a lot of non-standard usages, and I feel I'm a lot more forgiving with how kids speak, because I always open with, so you guys might notice I talk a bit different from you because I've got my Canadian accent. So I think, that's a bit rich, me coming over here telling you how to speak. But whereas writing, yeah, exactly. That's where I think, okay, this you know better, like, because writing is fixed on the page, and you have the chance to fix it up. So yeah, I also really do roll my eyes at the should of. The one that I would say my biggest one, sticking to writing, is this bizarre misconception that I've seen in over a dozen different schools that apostrophe S makes something plural. I don't know where that's come from. It's in so few cases. Maybe if it's something like CDs, where it's a plural of an abbreviation, but I've seen, people write books with an apostrophe S. It makes my eye twitch, and I have to correct it whenever it comes up.
I have one in Swedish. I realized.
Mm.
Success. I think you're gonna know this one. We have a word when you say say I pressed a button. It's in Sweden. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You say tryckte in Swedish. You say jag tryckte på knappen. I pressed the button. But people have, I don't even know where it has come from, but they say tryck. Jag tryck på knappen. What is that?
So there's a dialectal thing where you go from present to past tense for words with a y in them. So it's tryckte, byggde, things like that. You just turn specifically G's and CKs into all CKs and then go instead of y. So tryck, bygg, etc. And it's etc. And there's numerous other examples of it. But it's kind of like comparing it to an English thing would be if someone decided that it wasn't called I pressed the button, it's called I pressed the button. Like no, that's just not what it's called.
Yeah.
Thing is, I am from a part of the country where people say tryck, bygg, etc. So I've grown up with that, and while I know it's wrong and I don't use it myself, it doesn't really bother me because I grew up with it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know where I'm from. I'm from the big city, so
Yeah.
we're a little fancy here.
You won't stand for that. I also really enjoy this orientated and pregnant.
Pregnant.
Certainly.
It's like someone, I don't remember where it comes from. It sounds like the problem with the word banana is question is when to stop.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Or in Swedish, we say pineapple is ananas. So
No, 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 no,
ananas.
no, 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 no.
Right.
Yes.
It's great. I think we've really found some fertile ground here about
Yes.
because it is a thing that is undeniable is that everyone, one need not be a linguist with any formal certification to have some kind of an opinion on the way people talk, and I can confirm, pretty young children notice a different accent really really fast. You know, if I say 2 sentences, I've got people ask, "Oh, sir, are you American?" I say, I'll do a full introduction in a minute. Wait, did he say he's American? And then it becomes a whole thing.
That's funny. I was.
Yeah.
Can I? Before you're gonna play a song, obviously. I was in Spain, and we tried to find our. We had rented an apartment, me and my mom, and we met a couple of Irish guys who lived in that area. So they helped us find the apartment. And he asked me where I was from, and I said I'm from Sweden. And he said, "Oh, I thought you were American." I was like, okay. And then I told this story to EBX, Erin, and Carmela when we were in a production meeting for one of the songs last year. And they both were like, in unison, "No, you don't sound American at all." I'm like, okay, then I know.
Don't all rush to say, "Oh, really?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was funny. So it's very
But I think that's the
different.
thing. That's the thing with Swedish people, because we have a lot of melody in our language naturally. Anyone who is a native English speaker will not mistake us for a native English speaker,
Yeah.
at least not of their own country. An American would not mistake me for an American. But I've had people from like Germany think I'm from Ireland, and I've had people from like other second language speakers will sometimes mistake, because quite often we'll, as Swedes, because we have so much American and to some extent British media, we'll end up with like Americanisms that you wouldn't learn in school, but we've learned it from media. And so expressions or specific ways of pronouncing this particular consonant, or, you know, things like that. So I think that's where it's what happens. Like, again, I've had people think I'm from the UK, from Ireland, from different part of the United States, but never someone who actually was from there.
Joey,
Yeah.
can see you in chat.
I know what you mean. I've had people in different parts of the world think that I do have an Irish passport, but I've never lived in Ireland, just via my dad's family. And people say, but then I'll mention that to Irish people. They say, yeah, I would not have thought you have an Irish accent, which, because I don't, because I have never lived. I've been to Ireland, but I've never lived there. So yeah, it's funny the things people hear, but hey ho. Oh, also, public service announcement. If you're in a country where you don't hear too many people who talk differently, and you meet someone with a different accent, maybe, just maybe, they get asked a lot where they're from, and maybe they've got asked 2 or 3 times that day already. So you could ask them something different about themselves, like what's their favorite color. Just make of it what you will. Make of it what you will. Hey ho. Should we play more songs? Because I feel like this is we honestly could keep doing.
We
this
are
for
kind of
quite
in the
a
middle
while.
of a round now. Joseph has already done one more than the rest of us, and it's your turn. You're queued up, so now you just gotta go, man, go.
Queued up. Hellbent Bear says, "Hey Nate, hello, hello." Oh, I like that. If you get tired of being asked where you're from, just say, "I'm from Atlantis." You know what? I have done. Occasionally, I will do weird stuff like that, but the problem is I can't commit to it, because someone asked where I was from, and I said Japan, and they're like, "What?" They just didn't believe it, and then I was like, I suppose I'm gonna have to back this up with something of some knowledge of Japanese language. I'll listen. You know what I'll do? Josefi, I'll listen to your J-pop songs, and then I'm gonna just double down on. I'm from Earth, is where I'm from. I'm just a citizen of the cosmos. My favorite color, Hellbent, is green. But I do like. Well, actually, there you go. The bass. That's what really gives it away, I think. Cool. I'm gonna do Vaticinate, which is another Reach for the Dictionary song. Kat, only thing that tires you is every single time you say I'm Irish. No way! That's so cool. I'm, oh yeah, shoot. Right, this one is called Vaticinate, and I'm going to dedicate it to my dad, because talking about my cousin that I lost this year, I'm really thankful that I do still have my dad around, that I can go to him for advice, even though he is not in the best of health right now. And he gave me some tips. He said, oh, you know what? Maybe you sing the last chorus a little bit different. So I'm going to sing it the way my dad suggested. Here we go. She looked at me, I looked at her, we looked at each other. She was the one I cared for the most. Arm around shoulder, I pulled her in close. Ooh, it's all kicking off in chat. Listens through the closed door, I love it. I don't know if you can tell, I'm really mad. She looked at me, her eyes so sweet. It felt so right, so without fear, I whispered I love you into her ear. She looked at me, her eyes so sweet, and said, I'm hungry, let's go eat. And that isn't the way that I thought that would go. I guess if there's a next time, I will know. At least there is a lesson I can learn. Be prepared for bad I love you returns. We're traveling in an antique land. A merchant took me by the hand. He was a charming sort of chap, sold to me a treasure map. Wandering the sand for many weeks, gold and jewels did I seek, till at last X marked the spot. I dug all day, the sun was hot, ooh, oh so hot. The wooden chest that I unearthed was sure to be of massive worth. All of my excitement left me when I found that it was empty. That isn't the way that I thought that would go. I guess if there's a next time, I will know. An unattended box that's full of wealth, probably already been found by someone else. We come to every situation without preformed expectations. There's nothing wrong with hoping, but we should keep our minds open. And then if things don't go how you thought they'd go, at least if there's a next time, you will know. Sometimes you will fly, sometimes you'll fall. No one can see the future with a crystal ball. Sometimes you'll fly, sometimes you'll fall. No one can see the future with a crystal ball. Sometimes you'll fly, sometimes you'll fall. No one can see the future at all. Woo-woo. Thank you very much for the applause.
Oh, very welcome. That was nice. I like the groove of that.
Thanks. You know what? That I actually wrote that for the first ever New Tune showcase I took part in, and the prompt was not what was expected. Also,
That's-
Kat,
That's a hopeless one because that's one of those. So what's the prompt? Well, no, what was expected?
Right.
Okay,
but
so what was it?
Yeah. I'm not going to
Maybe-
tell you. The prompt is, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
at some point you should have that, or like, I'll tell you later.
But it's very Abbott and Costello, I think. Yeah. Oh, darn! We got Kat back in here. No, it's fine. we
Look
I
at
think
my
you never
spelling.
really left us.
Ignore my spelling in chat. Speaking of.
I really like how you got. That's like the most Scandinavian spelling of umbrella I think I could imagine.
Under my umbrella. Ella. I don't know how to say that.
That kind of reminds me of this is a very niche reference. It reminds me of the silly credits in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they had this stupid running joke about going to Sweden, and I think the joke is meant to be that the Swedish tourism board has taken over the projector, and they're sort of splicing in this sort of pseudo. It's English, but it's written with kind of Swedishy looking spellings. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah.
If anyone.
No,
knows
it's
that right.
it's yeah. That. Also, welcome in Raiders.
Happening. Welcome.
We have Raiders from Almost Maddie.
Oh wow!
Almost Maddie has brought in
Raiders.
friends. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Frieden has gifted a sub. Very, very. No, wait, no.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Has subscribed, and then Almost Maddie has also subscribed. That's what happened. I read that as Frieden gifting one to Maddie, but no, they both resubscribed. Thank you very much, both of you.
This is. I feel like we're
Oh, my
doing a
goodness.
play-by-play for sports. Only it's about something much more exciting than sports.
Yes, absolutely, of course. Quite a few people, familiar names here. Steggy, who's been on the New Tune Showcase twice, 3 times. Correct me, Staggy. How many times is it? I think I've seen you on. We've been on together once, and I've seen you on once. More than that, but I think you may have been on one that I haven't seen as well. I'm not sure. Steggy, of course, is absolutely fantastic. And we
Wicked.
got Kerry Rainshadow. Welcome in, welcome in. We got Phoenix Rising. Hello. And of course, Maddie, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the resub. And Frieden, thank you for the resub as well. Welcome in, everyone.
Welcome in. Free that Dane. Free that Dane.
Once, twice, 3 times a streamer. There's a Swedish phrase. One time is no time. 2 times is a bad habit.
What about 3 times?
So the thing is, you're down for number 3. Very good. Very good. I think we'll keep that in mind.
That sounds like a verbal contract to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, because the thing is, there's a version of that Swedish saying, which is not strictly safe for work, due to the fact that the Swedish word for the number 6 means also is the same word as precisely what you're thinking about. And so 1 time is no time, 6 is a bad habit. But, you're cottoning on. The song. Let's get back to that. I just sort of interrupted in the middle of talking about the song and to greet the Raiders.
Yeah.
But
Raiders.
yeah, I like the groove of it. It was, and it's fun to hear what's come out of earlier New Tune showcases as well.
Definitely. Because, I think it's sort of like high school essays. Sometimes you feel, okay, I've got an assignment, I've got a deadline, I need to get it in so I can pass the course. And sometimes that's I suppose if you go in with that mentality, that's what you get. But then, surprisingly, you can have something you think, this is actually, this exists beyond this performance on this day. I feel like this is a song that I'm gonna keep and record and make into something that stays with me forever, and I can still attribute it back to the New Tune Showcase.
Absolutely. I have a few songs that I've written for New Tune showcases because I have a folder in my Google Drive with all of the New Tune Showcase songs that I've written, and there are currently 12 files in there.
I think it's really nice to have a prompt sometimes to get like some kind of theme, because I usually don't have themes. myself. Well, I do fine, but like I used the prompt that was for one of the US. I just saw it on Instagram. So I kind of have written a song of it just because I felt like, oh, it's fun to have a prompt just to like have some kind of frame around it, just for fun of it. So I did write a song for one of the US prompt ones. I know. Can you remind me, Nate, what was the prompt for this song again?
This one was not what was expected.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and the title I went with was the really nice and accessible Vaticinate, which I did look up specifically for that song, and it means to prophesy or tell the future, which I mostly like because it has Nate in the end.
Oh. But it's funny with these like the unnecessarily complex words that mean very specific things that are usually either Latin or ancient Greek in origin.
Yeah.
Things like pandiculate is a personal favorite of mine, which means to yawn and stretch at the same time.
Is that what it means?
Yeah. But you wouldn't ever say that. Yeah.
So
pandiculate a bit here.
I was imagining, what did you say? Yawn and stretch.
Yeah.
Imagine if Dolly Parton would have written pendiculate and try to come to life instead of yawn and stretch and try to come to life in 9 to 5. That was what came to my mind when you said that.
Maybe that should be a future prompt. Pandiculate. And everyone who joins that new tune showcase goes, what the f?
Yeah, just the most inaccessible new tune showcase ever, where the prompt requires deciphering.
Yeah,
and just being really stickly about it. The word must appear in the song.
Yeah.
Yawn and stretch. I like that.
Yawn.
And procrastinate. Yeah, that's that is not a coincidence, Kat.
Yeah, procrastination makes me think of there's a Swedish competition every year that our music colleges, our sort of academies of music, there's 5 of them, have their own version of the Eurovision Song Contest. And a few years ago at my old school, someone wrote a song about procrastination. Just the chorus is about how he shouldn't procrastinera, nera, nera. It's almost just want to make the world dance. It's almost that one. We don't care about the money. But then they also have these sort of spoof artist pseudonyms, all of the performers and things. And his was börje I tid, which fits as a Swedish word, but it also kind of is the phrase start in time, begin in time. So, yeah. It's a lot of dumb things.
Sounds very, very punny, yeah. Let's start it. We'll start a procrastination tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been thinking about starting an organization that should be worldwide, a fan organization for the first man in space, Gagarin. I'd call it the Yuri Nation. Badoom Tish.
Perfect.
Right?
It's like being the world's first analrapist. An analyst and a therapist. It worked out well for Tobias Funke.
Yeah, well, there's an organization called Speed of Art, and their website is speedofart.com.
Oof.
So there are some fantastic ones. It's like the company called Penn Island. Their website is also fantastic.
Gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's the joy of wordplay, isn't it? Yeah,
it really is.
Because it's one of those things that you don't see it until you see it, and then you can't not.
Yeah. Well, speaking of these sort of overly complicated words, the Swedish word for illiterate is being an analphabet or being like analphabetism, which I think is a word in English as well. I'm not sure. But we were discussing that in school in 8th grade, and our teacher had before class written it on the whiteboard, and one of my classmates just come in and goes, "What's analphabetism?" Which is just terrible. I feel like we've removed ourselves from the music quite a bit at this point.
There went the family
Sorry, from the what?
music channel.
Yeah.
We're
Oh
gonna
my
be
goodness.
banned.
It's fortunate that neither Irene nor Pinball is here anymore.
The streamers are going to be banned today,
When-
unfortunately.
Yeah.
For inappropriate use of language.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, there's going to be one that is another new tune showcase that's going to be far more in control in about 2 hours.
That's
Well,
right.
let me save this by saying kawaii. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. God
There we go.
damn it, Siscat.
We are
It's
getting
like we are
carried away.
Yeah,
Going
we're following the theme here.
We are.
To quote Cat. God damn it.
Yeah. What do we reckon? Are we gonna kind of wrap it up?
Well, not quite yet because I haven't done my third song yet.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not yet.
Believe it or not. But I think my third song, and then we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to have some final questions for you guys.
Wrap it up. Oh no, not
Uh-huh.
like that. Okay.
The thing is, I have my looper right here. I have 2 rap songs looped up that I could just
Such
do
a
like
bad
that. So,
joke.
I mean, rap songs, that's
We
what you
could do an
do
improvised
while preparing
rap.
Christmas presents, isn't it? You know what? This is just raise your eyes and let them feast. She'll bring you to your knees if you're lucky. She'll listen to your pleas. That foxy lady. And when she enters the room, every man turns around and he starts to swoon. And I can't help it if she ever leaves. It'll always be too soon. That foxy lady. There's just one thing I know. She makes me wanna go. There's a sway to her hips, a magic sweetness to her lips. It's like fire to feel her fingertips. That foxy lady. Yay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, that was racy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy, that one. I like the basic sort of. It's stanky as hell.
Yeah.
I'm
It
really
gave-
pleased with it.
It gave me Black Velvet vibes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Black velvet
Absolutely.
and a little boy's smile.
I had a specific song in mind when I wrote it, but I don't remember which one it was. Can't recall. Something like some minor bluesy kind of, because there is a riff that's very similar that I inspired that one, but I can't remember what it was. Song is a number of years old. Speaking of how long you've been doing this stuff for, actually, speaking of that, I had my 5-year streamerversary yesterday. Apparently,
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. I have a Facebook post from a picture from when I sort of advertised that I'm doing my first ever music stream today. Please come and look. Which I get every year as a memory for this many years ago. And so that way I know when my streamerversary is, because I never remember otherwise.
Well, happy belated streamerversary.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
belated.
5
It'll be
years.
something like a celebration tomorrow on my regular stream, I guess.
You might just get rated. I don't want to.
Get rated. Don't want to promise too much too early.
It's yeah, that's true. It's like the bike wrapped up very obviously in the shape of a bike under the. It might be a bike. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. Come on. Let me open it.
I did a thing with my pupils this week, my 9th graders, along those lines, where basically I've had music history block with them since the start of term up until now, and they had the test last week, and then this week we did a Kahoot, which is for those of you who aren't teachers, a tool where you can you can write in questions, and then you get 4 options, and it's basically sort of multiple choice, but it also counts how many right answers, and you get, the quicker you answer, the more points you get, and everyone do it like just pressing buttons with the 4 colors, and the actual game is on a projector screen at the front, and whoever had the most points got a melodica.
Ooh.
But they didn't know it was a melodica, because I bought a melodica and then I wrapped it in thick brown paper and left the box, anonymous sort of box, on the teacher's desk for 2 weeks, just going, yeah, here's the price for later.
Oh. Well, that's good.
I had one pupil go, if that's an instrument and I win, I'm just going to be disappointed. And I'm like, well, heck you. It's like,
I'm a music teacher. What do you want from me? Come on.
yeah, they wanted it to be a big package of candy or something, probably.
A melodica?
Yeah,
melodica,
Melodica. Melodica. I feel like I'm in a
Yes.
spelling bee.
Actually, just give me half a second.
I'll race you.
What are we going to do? The host left.
Because it's me, so of course I have one.
Huh? Who can get it out faster? The melodica, I mean. Family show.
Why am I the only girl in here right now?
I actually gifted one, just like the one I had as a prize. I gifted to Hameda this summer at TwitchCon.
They're such a cool instrument, eh?
And it's such a sort of, as a sort of surprise gift for someone, and or a price that it's like, because they're not super expensive. The one I bought is like, in euros, 40 euros, 35, 40 euros. So it's not like buying someone a friggin' violin for 50,000 million, whatever. You know.
It's a Stradivarius.
Yeah. It's like,
There's no Stradivarius melodica.
yeah, no, so it's quite good.
Pinball, I'm really glad you also did the spelling bee thing. Yeah, I think it is very funny.
Yes.
I'm glad you realized I was being funny, because not everyone does. Not everyone does.
Oh yeah, Nate, you should come on my channel as a guest, and then we should do a Swedish and Swedish tongue twisters, and then I do a sentence in Finnish for my guests.
Oh.
Sixtieth hasn't had the, but you can't do that with you because you're Swedish. We have to.
Yeah, the Swedish tongue twisters is a problem.
That will be
Sentence in
huge.
Finnish. I mean, I did grow up at the coast, so I can sort of almost pronounce Finnish word. Like if I get a Finnish piece of text in front of me, I can pronounce it without actually knowing what it means. It's a weird talent of mine that I can read a lot of languages and sound like I can actually speak the language, so long as I have, like, I can actually pronounce. Like if I get French in front of me, I can kind of sound like I can speak French if I just read it without having any idea what it means.
But I've heard things about if you have some kind of like musicality, it's easier to like do languages or like sound like to
Yeah,
imitate
'cause-
the kind of the melody of a language, I guess.
Yeah,
So-
because you're sort of trained on listening and imitating cadence and pronunciations and things through music.
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
so
they
there's a
often go hand
definite,
in hand.
yeah, definite overlap for sure. Great things, languages, music, just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Oh, can I do a shameless plug before we
Yes.
go?
Absolutely.
So if anyone lives in or around London town, that's London, England, not London, Ontario, I am going to be doing a gig there on Friday, the 15th of November. So mark your calendars, 15th November in Soho at The Spice of Life, which I think sounds an awful lot like an Indian restaurant. I think I've seen it. I've ordered food from at least 2 different Indian restaurants called Spice of Life. This is not one of those. It's a pub. There's going to be me and some other musicians. It's going to be a load of fun. So there we go. That's my plug. That's my biggest project that I've got coming
That's
up.
nice. That's nice. Then I'm gonna remind what I started with in this stream that the first song that I played, which is almost a year old now,
Oot.
Muddy Waters, which also was made for this channel last year, is being produced. So we're gonna release it this fall at some point. We don't have a date right now.
Awesome.
And I have a bunch of like I said, a bunch of Twitch musicians are involved in the song. I just sing a little bit on it and have written the song, but they
They turned it into
like-
music.
You
They
mean
turn it
you
into
mean
music, exactly.
other musicians? You are one of the musicians, and then
Oh
there are
no,
several
I said
others.
it wrong now.
Yes.
Oh, I kept my. I've been so thorough with that the entire stream. Oh well.
Oh, you are a
Absolutely.
musician. Don't be.
So yeah, keep
be
an eye out
silly.
for that. I'll post it on. It's gonna be released on all platforms, and once it's done, and I'll post it on my Instagram. It's just Joswefi. If you search for that on Instagram, you can find me. And EBX Erin is probably gonna promote it, and maybe Carmela and the people that are involved.
That's cool.
The Cyberborn.
And will it be on Spotify as Josefi as well?
Yes, I am. My artist name has become Joswefi because that was the easiest, like, just segue or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing we've got pinball here. Yeah, do we want to raid before pinball goes, just so we have our safety?
Yes. So I want to do a quick shameless plug of myself, and then I have a final question for each of you. And then we will raid out. Did I end up misspelling that? Yes. Hang on. We're just background chatting with Pinball. We're raiding
Pinball.
over to someone who I actually have tried to get on this as well, but who hasn't had the time yet. So my shameless plugs are Hameta's Halloween collab to be revealed Halloween night, I believe, which is in a week and a half, where we've been paired up a number of musicians, me and Mr. WX, who is a synth guy, are making a song together, a track together. We also have, of course, the Christmas collab coming up under the leadership of Callsign Scarecrow and his fantastic mod Brittlestar. Me and Sparky Synth, she is fantastic, as I'm sure you guys know, are making a Christmas song for that. That is going to be sold at Bandcamp for charity. So please, please, please have a wonderful, wonderful time with those things as well. Go follow Hameta if you haven't already, of course. She's also a multiple alumni of the New Tune Showcase. Spelled like it sounds, Hameta, with 2 M's in the middle. And also, final thing, in 1.5 hours, give or take, there will be another New Tune Showcase right here on the Together Wherever Twitch channel. We are leaving now because we don't have any more to do, but there will be the American New Tune Showcase in just over 1.5 hours. So please be back here in 1.5 hours. I will be in the chat, definitely. Maybe I will be on screen. I haven't really talked to Irene about that yet. But yes, please do come back and watch the American New Tune Showcase as well. For now, thank you all very much. And
big thanks.
we will see you guys another time. Farewell, farewell, farewell.
It's a game of chicken now. I'm not going to stop.
When you say that, I'm gonna